They said I didn't belong there, that logistics girls should stick to sorting crates and cleaning rifles, not fixing them. I was bending over a jammed DMR when the instructor backed that out, real loud, like he wanted everyone to hear. One guy snorted, "She's probably gonna fix it with a mop." I didn't flinch, didn't give him the satisfaction. I just flipped the safety, popped the mag, walked the bolt, and in 8 seconds flat, that rifle was running cleaner than his mouth. The room got quiet. Not polite quiet, but that kind of thick silence where you can feel people holding their breath. One officer locked eyes on the patch on my shoulder, faded, barely visible. A Kraken. Most thought it was just some edgy design. The few who recognized it, they froze like they'd seen a ghost. Because that unit doesn't exist anymore. Not officially, anyway. I handed the rifle back to the instructor, no smile, no sass, just the job done, and walked off. Nobody said a word. But later that day, whispers started rolling in like fog over the field. Who is she? Where'd she come from? One guy in the mess hall joked I must have gotten lost on the way to supply. Another asked if I was there as some kind of diversity checkbox. I kept eating. Same pace. Fork, bite, chew, swallow. Like they weren't even talking about me. Couple days later, they sent me to sort busted optics in the back of the armory, probably to keep me out of sight. A few soldiers were hanging nearby, pretending not to watch. One guy with too many tattoos and not enough respect laughed, said I looked like I was playing with toys. Another mimicked my hands like I was doing origami. I didn't say anything until I held up a scope, looked through it once, and said, "This one's miscalibrated. You'd miss by a mile." Then kept going. They shut up. But the drill instructor wasn't done with me. He cornered me outside the armory, said fixing a gun doesn't make me a soldier. "Step outer line again," he said, "and you'll be back stacking boxes." I stopped. Didn't even look at him. "I fixed the problem," I said. "That's the job." His face twitched like he wanted to yell, but he didn't. Then came the late night check. I was alone cataloging rifles when a corporal barged in, dragging 2 others with him, all full of beer and bitterness. "Look at this," he said, "cleaning lady working overtime." One tossed a soda can at the table. It hit a rifle, rolled to a stop near my hand. I picked it up, set it down carefully. "Trigger's sticky," I said. "You'd be dead before it fired." I clicked it back into shape. "Clean, sharp." He backed off. Word spread. That's when the tension shifted. The guys who mocked me got quieter. The ones who ignored me started watching. Still, when I showed up for a shooting trial just to test a new line of rifles, the officer looked me up and down and said, "Back of the line, Morgan. Actually, don't bother. This isn't for logistics girls." I didn't argue. Just set the weapon down and walked away. But that foggy day, everything turned. Heavy mist rolled in during a simulation, 0 visibility. Lasers were useless, instincts took over. One rifle jammed and no one moved. So I did. The instructor scoffed, told me I'd scratched the finish. I ignored him. Took the rifle, adjusted the scope by feel, fired 5 times 5 direct hits through the fog. No tech, no guides. Just training. Old training. That's when someone muttered, "Only Kraken or Viper teach that method." My jacket shifted. The patch showed again. Silence followed. Later, in the locker room, a woman with too much attitude and not enough sense spotted the scar along my side. "What's that?" "Marker," she laughed. Trying to look badass. I didn't even answer. But before I left, I walked past her and said, "Your holster's loose. Fix it before you shoot yourself." Her hand flew to her belt. It was loose. Not long after, a tech officer ran a background check on me. His screen flashed red. Security error. Level black clearance. He stuttered, called in a corner. Then an intelligence advisor. No one spoke. But they all left shaken. Only Kraken gets encryption like that, someone whispered. Then came the helicopter. Unscheduled. Loud. And out stepped General Maxwell, head of Allied Command. Didn't look left or right. Walked straight up to me, saluted, and said, "Commander Morgan, didn't expect to see you retraining with the grunts." I looked him dead in the eye. Needed to reevaluate. Been 3 years since I pulled a trigger. That shook the whole base. Hard. Some people who laughed at me got reassigned. Others transferred. The corporal with the soda can. Never made eye contact again. The guy who posted a photo of me at the range. Deleted his socials after the footage leaked. Yes, someone recorded my shots in the fog. It went viral. Kraken Ghost, they called me. I hated it. One private young kid, never mocked me but never stood up either, came by the armory once, nervously handed me a scope. "They say you're a legend," he mumbled. I looked at the scope. "Legends don't calibrate optics," I said. He smiled anyway. On my last day, a young woman approached. Said she wanted to be like me. I told her, "Don't. Be better." She nodded like it meant something. And maybe it did. So now I'll ask you, what would you have done if everyone laughed at you, pushed you out, talked down to you? Until they found out who you really were. Leave a comment below, tell me what you think. Is silence strength? Is proof louder than pride? Or do people only listen when the truth wears a uniform and leaves scars?